Welcome to YouTube classes Hakimam Higher Secondary School, BALASORE. Myself, Rusikas Munda, Leader in Mathematics, Barhampur Higher Secondary School. Today we will start cube root of unity. It is in complex number because we find cube root of 1, there are 3 roots. One is real, other 2 are imaginary roots. So we start. Cube root of unity. It is our topic. Before going to this cube root of unity, now I want to say square root of 1. How can we find square root of 1? It is your cube root of unity. We want to find this cube root of unity, that is, there are 3 roots. Before going to this root of 1, I mean, I am saying 1 plus square. We know square root of 1 is plus or minus 1. But how can we find this plus or minus 1? Let it be x, then squaring both sides. Now it is x square minus 1 equal to 0. After factorizing it, we find x plus 1, x minus 1 equal to 0. So once x plus 1 0, then we find x equal to minus 1. Again, x minus 1 equal to 0, we find x equal to 1. This is the procedure to find out the square root of 1. So we find square root of 1 is plus or minus 1. Like this, we will find cube root of 1. Let it be x. Then, like this, squaring both sides, in this case, we take cube in both sides. So cube in both sides means 1 equal to x's cube. Taking into one side, x's cube minus 1 equal to 0. After factorizing it using a cube minus b cube formula, 1 means 1 cube. So a cube minus b cube formula, we know it is a minus b into a square plus ab plus b square. So once x minus 1 equal to 0, then we find x equal to 1. It is a root and we know it is real root. Again, x square plus x plus 1 equal to 0. So how can we find root of this quadratic equation? We use the formula x equal to minus b, x equal to minus b plus or minus b square minus 4ac square root divided by 2a. This is the formula to find out the root of a quadratic equation. So now we find here a equal to 1, b equal to 1 and c equal to 1. So minus b means minus 1 plus or minus b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. So this is minus 1 plus or minus 1 minus 4. That is minus 3 divided by 2. So we find this as minus 1 plus or minus. We know square root of a negative number is an imaginary number. So we write it as root 3i by 2. Now this can be written as once minus 1 by 2 plus root 3 by 2 into I and other is minus 1 by 2 minus root 3 by 2. So we find these two roots are complex numbers, or we say it is a real root and these two are imaginary roots. So we find cube root of 1, cube root of 1 cube root of 1 we find 1 and other is minus 1 by 2 plus root 3 by 2y and other is minus 1 by 2 minus root 3 by 2y. And these, it is one imaginary, but it is a real root. These two are imaginary roots. Imaginary roots. We may symbolize it as omega, other is omega square. It is one root and it is another root. So we consider it, one is omega, other is omega square. Why we write this omega square? Because these two numbers are square to each other. If I take square of this, then we get this. If I take square of this, then we get this. So they are square to each other. If it is omega, then it will omega square. If it is omega, then it will omega square. Okay? So these two roots, imaginary roots, we denote them, we represent them omega with omega square. So what will be the relation between these two roots? We find one relation is they are square to each other and another relation is they are conjugate to each other, because we know conjugate means imaginary part will be negative. Real jaha thila taha rahibo, imaginary part kebal negative ହେଇଯିବ. So they are conjugate to each other as well as they are square to each other. In this case, the imaginary roots are square to each other as well as conjugate to each other. That is omega conjugate then omega square. Similarly, omega square conjugate omega. एबे ओमेगा ओमेगा स्क्वायर को नहीं कौन पाइबो सेटा देखिबा ओमेगा प्लस ओमेगा स्क्वायर minus 1 by 2 plus root 3 by 2y and other is minus 1 by 2 minus root 3 by 2y. So root 3 by 2y, root 3 by minus cancel, minus half minus 1, that is minus 1. So we find omega plus omega square equal to minus 1. It is one thing we find between two roots. If we write 1 omega plus omega square, minus taken to left hand side. So we find 1 plus omega square, that is 0. By using this 1 plus omega square, we can solve different problems about this omega. So now from this we find 1 plus omega, that is minus omega square, 1 plus omega square, that is minus omega. So we find these three things. From this omega plus omega square equal to minus 1. Again, I want to multiply these two roots. That is omega square minus 1 by 2 plus root 3 by 2i with minus 1 by 2 minus root 3 by 2i. So we know it is omega cube and it is a plus b, a minus b. That is your formula, a square minus b square. That is 1 by 4 minus 3 by 4 I square. 1 by 4 I square value is minus 1. So we write minus 1, this minus, plus 3 by 4. After adding this by taking LCM, we find it is 1 plus 3 means 4 by 4 means 1. So we find another thing, that is omega q equal to 1. We want to find different power of omega by taking this omega q equal to 1. जेमिति I square equal to minus 1 हमको जोड़ा थिला, I square equal to minus 1. तापर different power of I हमें काढ़ी पारुथुलु. ठीक सेमिति हमें जानिलु omega q equal to 1. Then we can find different powers of omega. First, omega fourth can be written as omega q into omega, that is 1 into omega, it is omega. Omega fifth, omega q into omega square, that is 1 omega square, that is omega square. Omega sixth, one can write it as omega q square, that is 1 square 1. Like this, omega to the power 99 suppose, one can write omega to the power omega q to the power 33, that is also 1 to the power 33 means 1. Like this we can find different powers of omega which will either 1 or omega square. So I write these four things. Again, omega square equal to minus 1 omega square equal to 0, 1 plus omega equal to minus omega square, 1 plus omega square equal to minus omega, and omega q equal to 1. By taking these, we can solve different problems. Suppose, one example, 1 plus omega minus omega square. What will be its method? Very simple. We know here 1 plus omega is minus omega square. So we write minus omega square with minus omega square, that is minus 2 omega square. If one question like 1 minus omega square plus omega fourth. So what will we hear? First we have to find out the value of omega fourth. We know omega fourth is omega q into omega. So we write omega q into omega. That is 1 minus omega square into 1 into omega. So I write this omega 1 plus omega minus omega square. That is minus omega square minus omega square, again minus 2 omega square. This question is direct question. If I want to express this indirectly, so it is omega fourth. This can be expressed in the form of this omega. So I write omega here, 1 plus omega is minus omega square, and this minus omega square we find minus 2 omega square. Another example. Suppose evaluate 1 plus omega plus omega fifth. What will be its result? 1 plus omega, omega fifth can be written as omega q into omega square. So now it is 1 plus omega, 1 with omega square. Then we find 1 plus omega square, it is 0. Very simple. Now we proceed to find some powers of this omega problem, like plus 2 omega plus 5 omega square to the power 6. Now these two taking common, it is 1 plus omega 5 omega square or to the power 6. So it is 2. Now it is minus omega square plus 5 omega square or to the power 6. So now it is minus 2 omega square plus 5 omega square to the power 6. So it is 3 omega square or to the power 6. Now it is 3 to the power 6 and omega square to the power 6. 3 to the power 6 means 7 to 9 and omega to the power 12. We know omega q equal to 1. So this can be written as 7 to 9 omega q all to the power 4 means 1 to the power 4. So the answer is 7 to 9. Like this. So आमको ये जानिबार अछि ओमेगा रो प्रॉब्लम आसिले हम केमति करिवो ना एतिके दिनस जे हम पाखरे थिबो मालूम थिबो जणा थिबो ताले हम जे कोनसी प्रॉब्लम पड़ले एइटा को बेस करी करिबे. Another example, suppose 1 plus omega with 1 plus omega square with 1 plus omega 4 with 1 plus omega with every research. Now it is this one, for this 1 plus omega, one can write minus omega square. For this 1 plus omega square, we can write minus omega. 1 plus this omega fourth can be written as omega q into omega, and omega fifth can be written as omega q into omega square. So now it is omega cube into, this is your 1. So 1 plus 1 omega, and it is omega square. It is your omega cube. Again it is 1 plus omega with 1 plus omega square. We write this as 1 and this as minus omega square, and this is minus omega. So 1 and it is omega cube. Answer will be 1. এইভাবে আমি ওমেগার যেতে গুলো প্রবলেম আসবে না কাহিঁকি আমরা এই বেসিক এই আইডিয়ার উপরে আড করি। Another example. Suppose 1 plus omega square minus 2 omega whole to the power 5. Now we know 1 plus omega square is minus omega, and it is minus 2 omega whole to the power 5. Now we find it is minus 3 omega to the power 5. So it is minus 3 to the power 5, again omega to the power 5. We know where power is odd, in case of negative number, so we get it is negative, that is 3 to the power minus 3 to the power 5, and omega 5 means omega cube into omega square. So now it is 243 minus 243, and it is 1, it is omega square, so answer will be minus 243 omega square, like this. Minus 3 whole to the power 5, minus 243 omega square. Another example. Suppose 1 plus 5 omega plus 5 omega square to the power 6. This question, 1 plus 5 omega plus 5 omega square whole to the power 6. This is your 1, 5 taken common, omega plus omega square whole to the power 6. 5, it is minus 1. Omega plus omega square is minus 1 whole to the power 6. So it is minus 5 plus 1 to the power 6. It is minus 4 to the power 6. This is 4 to the power 6, or we write 2 to the power 2 to the power 6, that is 2 to the power 12, like this. Another example. One plus omega into 1 plus omega square into 1 plus omega fourth into 1 plus omega fifth into 1 plus omega to the power 7 into 1 plus omega to the power 8. So now we know it is minus omega square, it is minus omega. So we know omega fourth means omega q into omega. Again it is 1 plus omega q into omega square. Again it is 1 plus omega q square means omega 6 omega, and it is 1 plus omega q square into omega square. So now it is omega q, and within bracket it is 1 plus omega, because we know it is 1. Like this, it is 1 plus omega square. Again it is 1 plus omega, 1 plus omega square. So we find it is 1. From this 1 plus omega, we find it is minus omega square, and it is minus omega. Again it is minus omega square and minus omega. So we find it is omega cube, again it is omega cube. So 1 into 1 into 1, answer is 1. Another question, given x equal to a plus b, y equal to a plus b omega, and z equal to a plus b omega square. So what will be x, y, z? I want to find out the value of x, y, z. Now I multiply these three, b omega a plus b omega square. It is a plus b, it is a square plus a b omega square plus a b omega plus b square omega cube. A square plus a b omega square plus a b omega plus b square omega cube. It is your a plus b, a square, taken common a b omega square plus omega, and it is only b square. So now it is a plus b and a square minus a b plus b square, because we know omega plus omega square is minus 1. So now we know this is a q plus b cube. Equal question of this a square suppose 2 plus 3 omega plus 2 omega to the power 8 whole to the power 5. What will be its result? So now this 2 plus 3 omega plus 2. What will be omega to the power 8? One can write omega cube square, again omega square whole to the power 5. So 2, now it is 1 we know, plus 2 omega square plus 3 omega to the power 5. Now taken common 2, 1 plus omega square, 3 omega to the power 5. Now it is minus 2 omega plus 3 omega to the power 5. Now it is omega to the power 5. So omega 5 is expressed as omega q into omega square. So it is omega square. Answer is only omega square. So this is all about imaginary cube roots of unity, means omega and omega square. Now we proceed to solve one quadratic equation. Solution of quadratic equation. A quadratic equation is in the form of ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. We solve it by using formula or factorization or perfect square. Its formula is, we know, x equal to minus b plus or minus b square minus 4ac square root by 2. And in this case, we know it is discriminant d, that is your b square minus 4ac. So image of the roots depends on this discriminant. Means if d is a positive number, means d greater than 0, then we find square root of b square minus 4ac, that is root d, will be real and unequal. Previously we know square root of a positive number is real and unequal. So the roots are real and unequal. It हमें कौन पाइबो ताले ये है ला पॉजिटिव रियल variable, तो it हमें पाइबो minus b by 2a. So it खाली रियल जदी है ला कहीं की unequal ना प्लस और माइनस अच्छी तो हमें टोटल रूट को कहिबो एटा जदी रियल है ला ताला हमें कहिबा roots are real and unequal. Similarly, when D negative when D less than 0, so square root of D will be one imaginary number. It about imaginary number but complex number हमें पाइबू ताले की कौन होगा? So here roots are imaginary and unequal. If d equal to 0, d 0 means x कितना होता है? Now minus b by 2a. Here two roots are equal. The roots are real and equal. One example. Solve x square plus 3x minus 2 equal to 0. So what will be x? A is your 1, b is your 3 and c is your minus 2. Minus b plus or minus b square minus 4ac square root divided by 2. So this will be minus 3 plus or minus, it is your 9, it is your 8 square root divided by 2, minus 3 plus or minus, it is root 7 by 2. So here we find 17, each a positive number, so its square root will be real. So here we find roots are real. One is minus 3 plus root 7 by 2, other is minus 3 minus root 7 by 2. Another question, solve x square plus 2x plus 5 equal to 0. So now a is 1, b is 2 and c is 5. So x equal to b square minus b plus or minus b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. So it is minus 2 plus or minus 4 minus 20 square root divided by 2. Minus 2 plus or minus minus 16 square root divided by 2. We know it is a negative number, its square root will be imaginary. So it is minus 2 plus or minus. We know root 16 is plus or minus 4. So root minus 16 will be either 4i or minus 4i. So we write here 4i divided by 2. Taking common 2, we find minus 1 plus or minus 2i. 2 to cancel. Now it is minus 1 plus 2i, other is minus 1 minus 2i. So these two are imaginary roots, because we know here d is negative. We know when d is negative, the roots are imaginary and unequal. So this is all about solution of quadratic equation. Another question. Solve 2x square plus x minus 3 equal to 0. So it is also one quadratic equation. We can use that formula. Here a is 2, b is 1 and c is minus 3. Now x minus b plus or minus b square minus 4 a b square minus 4a and c square root divided by 2 into 2. Coefficient of x square is a, coefficient of x is b, and the constant term is c. So minus b plus or minus b square minus 4ac. Now we find this edge 1. It is a 2 into 3 into 4, 24. And plus 24 square root divided by 4. Minus 1 plus or minus root 25 divided by 4. That is minus 1 plus 5, it is a 5 by 4, and other is minus 1 minus 5 by 4. So now it is 4 by 4 and it is minus 6 by 4. 1 and that is minus 3 by 2. So here we find two real roots, because here d is a positive number. We know square root of a positive number is real. So we find the roots are real and unequal. This is all about solution of quadratic equation. Next, we will see how can we find the square